A very good morning to one and all. I am Ruchit Mathur, a student of BBA Finance and Accounting at Christ University Department of Professional Studies. In conversation today for Cognito Talks, we have with us the Managing Director of Stovekraft, Mr. Rajendra Gandhi. His extraordinary efforts and experience in the kitchen appliance industry for more than 2 decades have resulted in their quality appliances being present in each and every household. For the interviewers are Devharsh Toshniwal and Aryan Mittal. Devharsh is a 2019 graduate of BCom Finance and Accountancy. He is currently on his way of completing the Chartered Accountancy course and has prior work experience with PwC. Aryan is currently pursuing BBA Finance and Accountancy from the Department of Professional Studies. A very warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you for joining us today at Cognito Talks. We look forward to having a wonderful session with you. Over to Devharsh.
Hello, sir. First off, we would like to know a bit more about your past. If you could tell us something about your education and professional journey prior to Stovekraft and the experiences that you garnered there that led to the initiation of Stovekraft from it to being the success that it is today.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to discuss about me, which is not generally, it is not the case when I discuss myself. But anyway, this is how I would want to present. Say after school, I joined my parents. We were in the business of retailing kitchen utensils and cookware. So this was the store in Jayanagar, a suburb of Bangalore,
Okay.
and I joined my this shop and at the age of about 14 years, and I was in ninth standard. So after 10th school, I became full. All the time that I would devote was for the shop. That my professional life had begun, and all that I do today, I learned there. 8 years, I spent time in the store of my father. More, the main role was to take care of the sales, but then it is also about managing a store, which involved all the facets of doing business. So again, I want to repeat that all that I do today, I learned there, whether it is the HR practices, whether it was to do with finance, it was to do with marketing, it was to do with sales or ensuring customer satisfaction. And so I can say the base was built, but there was a desire internal to, post school, I wanted to be an engineer. And but my father chose that I join him and support him in the shop. And so we come from this Jain Marwari family. So traditionally, it was like this that the family had responsibilities. The parents' responsibilities was to ensure that their kids are educated and then married off. Until marriage, it was kind of a responsibility. So we were six siblings, and I was the fourth of them, and two other younger ones. And so four sisters and two brothers. All of us got married before 92. So
Okay.
93, I wanted to plunge and get into the dream of getting into being an engineer. So rather than going to a college again, I thought that I start a business of my own. So got into manufacturing, and that was the beginning of what is Stovekraft today. But it started off as Vardhaman Enterprises. It was a partnership. I mean, it was a proprietorship company, and initial products that we wanted to make was gas stove bodies. It's not the whole gas stove. We have found a customer who was wanting to manufacture gas stoves, and the shell of the body and shell of the gas stove, that was a stainless steel body. The beginning, we started making this. It was a very small, I can say, workshop. And so while we were doing this, within a year and a half, there was a reason for him that he wanted to make his own bodies. We were saddled with this facility of making gas stove bodies with no customer. So there was no choice but to make a complete gas stove. So we started making our own gas stoves. And there was another product, kerosene stove. We were so fortunate that we could build a network across the south. We went to by 97, within 3 years, we became the largest in the space of gas stoves, domestic gas stoves in this country. albeit it was unorganized. We were manufacturing various brands based on the customer needs, but the business was the same, making gas stoves. And during this time also we had a large, I can say, a brand wanting to source components from us. So we started giving, I mean, supplying components to them. And then this business also continued. In 2000, we decided that we will build our own brands, and that's when Stovekraft was born. So we started making the products under our brand, the current brand that we own, the Pigeon brand and the Gilma brand. So we then went on adding the range of products. So 2003 we got into mixer grinder, 2004 we got into making pressure cookers and so on. And today I can say the company is well diversified. We have a very wide portfolio of products. Majority of these are manufactured at our plants in Bangalore and Himachal Baddi. And we have three successful brands: Pigeon, Gilma. These are homegrown brands. We have a licensed global brand, Black& Decker. The company recently also listed. uh, we did our IPO. We had a successful IPO and a good listing. And today is in the listed space and in among the uh, top three, four companies in the space today in this country.
Yes, that was quite an interesting story, sir. It was so inspirational, and I can't even begin to explain like the experience that you must have had in the beginning would definitely must have played a big role in your experience in running a company this large, I
De-
guess.
Definitely. I can tell you the entire foundation of whatever I do today was learned there. And of course, over the years, the various experiences would have enriched your learnings. But the foundation was the 8 years that I spent in the store that was started by my father.
Yes. So, sir, as you mentioned, you went ahead with the gas stoves and then LPG stoves. But in 2006, I think you established a breakthrough marketing deal with a few petroleum distribution companies like BPCL and IOCL. So,
Yeah,
what was
in
your
this
approach?
journey, yeah, in
Yes,
this
sir.
journey of building the business from where I told you from an unorganized making only the body, today we are globally there. We also exports. So in 2005-6, the oil companies wanted, see, they have a channel where they sell the domestic gas, and
Mm-hmm.
the gas distributors were buying the gas stoves from various sources. They wanted to encash on this opportunity, or I can say streamline this. So they tied up with various brands, and we were the early ones. And so we co-branded with these three oil companies. Initially, it was with Hindustan Petroleum, then it was Indian Oil, and then BPCL. So these three PSUs, they co-branded with our brands, both Pigeon and Gilma. And we were selling, manufacturing, distributing the gas stoves to their gas distributors through their channel. That is, they would facilitate the sales of this
Right.
gas stove. We would close the whole supply chain process.
So that is quite interesting. But what was your approach like? What did you have to essentially go towards them, or were there any contacts that you used to back these contracts, or did they only approach you?
Yeah, by then we were large enough to approach some two other companies. The oil companies had up the space. So apart from approaches, rather, explored this possibility of co-branding and distributing the gas stove. And actually, the whole industry got streamlined over time. So it got organized, I can say. In the past, before this arrangement that started in 2005-6 with Stovekraft and two other companies, all this was semi-organized and not necessarily the quality standards of products that were being delivered to the Indian consumers through this channel also was not well organized. And post this, many more they made arrangements with many more companies. Today, this business of gas stoves sold along with the domestic gas connection is well organized and is routed through the oil companies so that they are able to monitor the cost at what they reaches the consumer, and also the basic quality levels are adhered to, and overall safety is taken care of. So I can say this was the beginning, but today the whole gas stove industry, the initial purchase of a gas stove is now channelized through this channel.
Wow, so that is quite an interesting story that you told us. Over to Aryan.
Right. So, sir, the company received a couple of rounds of private equity infusion from Sequoia Capital, first in 2010 and then in 2013. So, did you view this investment as a pure financial contract or as a mix of financial and strategic decision? This is because soon after the second round of infusion, the company bagged major orders from international retailers. So, did Sequoia, as a credible investor with a global approach, help you approach these international chains of distribution, or was their role strictly restricted to that of a financier?
I will want to add something more. Actually, we were in the outskirts of Bangalore. Uttaralli was the factory, which is now part of, I mean, it's become a very sprawling, busy area. And those days when I started the factory in 93, 94, this was a very isolated area. But because this became so busy and we could not continue operations, we had to look for an industrial area. The nearest industrial area was Harwali. And so we had to migrate. And the dream was to build the largest factory for the kind of business we are in. Obviously, while we set out to do this in 2006, 2008, Sidvi Venture Capital Fund, it's the private equity firm of Sidvi, invested in Stovekraft. In 2010, we could buy them out. Because we bought them out, Sequoia got excited and they approached us, and uh, uh, we were fortunate to get this investment from Sequoia. Sequoia was more their target investments were more towards the IT space, the technology space, and we being low technology, I mean, considerably, relatively, these products were considered to be low technology and not related to their normal investments. So we are very fortunate to have this global leader in equity investments. There is absolutely no doubt that because of their network and the way they manage their portfolio companies and the experiences that they garner from these companies is always available to share for any of their which is of mutual interest. They would want their companies to think global and also get all the benefits that they can share to these companies. Definitely, the association has helped. But for I can say that we set up capabilities for manufacturing which were globally competitive, and both it was that these retailers are also looking out for good associations where they could have a continuous supply of high quality products. So in the non-stick cookware space, we started exporting to the North American retailers, including Walmart and the I can say the large chains in the US. And yeah, we started this business in 2014. We had two rounds of equity infusion from Sequoia. The first round was in 2010, and then we did a large mistake in 2011. We did a large government order, and so nothing went right in the order. We had the order was cancelled, and we were saddled with a very huge inventory. And at that point of time, the company went through a huge setback. It was a loss that could have actually ruined the company. But I can say that the maturity of Sequoia and the support that they gave us, they again invested in us the second time. This time it was a larger investment at a higher valuation than what it was in the first round. Overall, I can only say that the support extended by Sequoia, the confidence that they had in our company, has led to where we are today, has led to a successful IPO, which has also given rich dividends to Sequoia. They still hold some portion of the equity in the company, and at the pace that the company is currently growing, they would get much more benefited. They'll be much more benefited with their investment, even more than what they parted in the IPO. So I can say any company recognized by any private equity will have some capabilities on its own, but they can always rely upon these private equities, global private equity investors who come with, an experience of managing so many companies, and obviously with the experiences that these companies go through, they would know what is right, what is wrong, what is better for these companies, and always that guidance is available. Yeah, it was a financial investment, but it was not only a financial investment. It was a partnership that supported the company.
Right. Thank you so much for that insight, sir. Devharsh?
Yes. So So you are a large company. You have about 650 national distributors, 12 overseas, and you serve more than 45,000 retailers. And all of these goods are produced in Bangalore and the Buddi facility. So after having such a large broad chain or supply chain network that you have, how did you manage during the pandemic?
Of course, these were testing times. I can say the months of March, April, and May will always remain in memories for long. These were times of high uncertainty, and with manufacturing operations of the scale that we have, and while today we employ about 3,500 people, there are fixed costs, and with uncertainty of how long we are going to be locked down, uh, with these fixed costs and the cash running out every day, drying up, it was always a concern. But I can tell you, Stovekraft was built on very strong foundation. All these various teams, the sales teams, the R&D teams, the teams at manufacturing facilities, and the maintenance team, they all came together and they worked during this lockdown, albeit remotely. So many of our lines got automated. We introduced new products. The tool rooms worked because we have an operation in China, and they were open, so we could tool up some products. Overall, actually, when we started again, it became a sudden boon for us with all that vitality that was suddenly coming in and the zeal to outperform and bring back all that was lost, led to a huge jump in our overall performance of the company, I can say. And also for us, because we are in the category, we are in the business which caters to cooking, and during the pandemic, I can say a lot of them have moved to, I mean, kind of the habit has changed. More and more people are cooking and at home. More and more people are dining at home, and it's kind of celebrating food at home. So this has led to more consumption of the category of products that we have, because more and more consumption of these kind of products are also gone up globally. So I can say that though pandemic, of course, was, I can say, frightening. I mean, it really pushed us to the end, and maybe that has led to better performance. And actually, while many companies would have gone through challenges post the months of June, post July, I can say our company has grown at a pace which was higher than in the past.
That's quite interesting. So, like the way pandemic was managed, and you actually managed to automate a few of your processes, despite being a very traditional manufacturer and not per se a technology company. I think that's something laudable. So, over to Aryan.
Right. So, sir, on in continuation to your topic, can you please elaborate that how the pandemic has changed the demand dynamics of the products offered by the company? Like, what I mean is that can you elaborate on the products for which demand have increased and tell about the products for which demand is slumped? And for how long do you foresee that such a shift will be prevalent for?
Yeah, I think for us, as I was explaining to you, we are in the business of cooking. All that can support that cooking at home, domestic cooking is what, and we can solve any need in the kitchen is what is our business. And while we are also there in the home. So, like I was mentioning to you, more and more people are now cooking at home, dining at home. This has led to consumption of these products. Higher consumption of these products has led to higher demand for this at the manufacturing end. Of course, in the space that we operate, particularly in India, we have both these organized players, large organized players, and maybe small and not necessarily well established unorganized players. So they had a challenge of the supply chain. Stovekraft as a company is highly backward integrated in the products that it manufactures. So we had that advantage, and also the second advantage is 85-90% of our workforce are from the local area, and the remaining actually reside in the factory, that is in the dormitories of the company. So we had not much of a challenge in getting the workmen back to work immediately the day we wanted to start. Almost no challenge. But generally, in manufacturing facilities like ours, they are migrant laborers, and if they had gone back to their hometowns, it was a big challenge for these companies to come back. We did have some small challenges in some of our vendors coping up to our requirements, but I can also say that we are fortunate that both the domestic and global vendors, they could support us in this search. And overall, I can tell you for the category, limited to Stovekraft, this pandemic in India, globally, the cooking business has seen a huge surge. The domestic cooking business has seen a huge surge, and the consumption of all these products that we make, whether it is cookware, the cooktops, or the appliances, both electrical and non-electrical, we are witnessing very high growth. Regarding the sustenance of this, I can say now it is kind of become a habit for people to cook at home. And also, it's not that the pandemic is over. There's a lot of fear, and until everything, I mean, it's going to take a long time until everything gets settled. And by then, we believe that the size of business that is growing will get stabilized. In terms of purely in terms of economics and the scale of business, actually, we stand to gain by the pandemic. While of course, pandemic is pandemic, and nobody would want to take undue advantage. But this has led to gain to the category of business we are in.
Right, sir. In continuation to this only, but I would like to just add that the pandemic has also seen the recent popularity of food aggregator applications like Zomato and Swiggy, which has dissuaded the youth from actually cooking in-house. So how has that affected the sales of the company, since the company essentially manufactures kitchen appliances?
Yeah, you are right in what you are mentioning. Is not that every person who was not dining at home is also 100% cooking. But by the moment I say cooking at home, even if this is, it could be reheating, it could be serving, it could be dining, but finally eating at home, and even a portion of that cooking at home, it all involves the products that we make. So as long as cook, eating at home will continue, this will only grow from the base level that it is. Majority of the population globally dines at home, but I'm telling you there was a surge because even the remaining close to 100% dined at home. Maybe, and then even if these new age what do you call aggregators, food aggregators are able to deliver, still there is a lot of cooking that is still happening at home. It's a combination of all this, but we are witnessing and we are experiencing this. So this is our experience that we want to share with you. That the cooking business is growing, and we believe that this habit that is set in will ensure the growth of this business for a long time to come.
Thank you for that insight, sir. Now, going to a more financial aspect, with commercial interest rates touching rock bottom, what is your opinion about the financial management of the company? Would the company be attempting to refinance its existing debt at a lower rate of interest, or is the company planning to gradually reduce fixed interest charges from its financial accounts by the way of using the recent IPO proceeds for debt repayment?
Yeah, technically today the company is already debt free, and of course there has been the interest rates going southwards. It would have been a lot of advantage if you could use borrowed funds, but at the pace the company is generating money, and also with the IPO proceeds both, the company is already debt free and with generating free cash month on month. So we are not able to take advantage of the lower interest rates, because in the past when we went through this challenge, the government order being cancelled and all that, and huge capex that were lined up, we had credit lines and the interest rates were relatively higher. And today the banks are willing. I mean, already the interest rates are low and the banks are flush with funds. They would want to support companies like us and lend as much as they can. But at the phase and time that we are, that Stovekraft is currently, we have no need for this borrowed funds, and that is the current thing.
Thank you for that analysis, sir. It gave us a good insight into the company's financials. Devharsh?
Yeah, thank you, Aryan. So, what is your vision for a post-IPO Stovekraft? Are you planning to capitalize on your position in the kitchen appliances segment, or do you want to diversify into different products like the pigeon LED that you have done?
The Pigeon LED was started in 2016-17. It was to experiment our own capabilities of building distribution. We have been very successful in that. When I say LED, it is only the consumer lighting business that is off the shelf. The consumer can buy. The products are bulb, buttons, and downlights. We continue to make them. Initially, we started with trading them, but today we manufacture. It is a completely backward integrated facility, but having got into this segment and it is doing very well, but we want to be focused. We believe that there is huge opportunity out there in the space that we operate. A lot of innovations are happening. Stovekraft is driven by innovation, and also the consumer today is getting more and more tech savvy, and so want more comfort in the usage of these cookware or appliances. The company continues to innovate and add products. So we have a huge scope on enhancing our offerings. That is the range of products that we offer. And as it is, the market is quite large, both domestically and globally. Both our domestic business and the export business is growing at a much higher rate than the industry. So with these opportunities in front of us, in the near future, in the next few years, we don't see any diversification. Uh, but the future, we never know how the world evolves. And if there is an exciting opportunity that can add value to our company, we may explore. But in the near future, like I said, the next few years, I think there is more than what we can actually manage in the space that we are.
Right, that makes a lot of sense, sir. I agree with you, in fact. So, however, there seems to be a very interesting debate brewing in the new age startup companies about bootstrapping and using venture capital funds. Where do you stand on this debate, sir?
I think if companies have sustainable models where it can uh, generate, see, finally, it is about gain for all the stakeholders. If they can build businesses, if companies can grow and scale up and generate money, definitely the advantage that comes with this, at whatever stage that the company will raise capital, the advantage that they will get is, of course, large sums of money. Then that in any for any business, one of the ingredient is the finance. Of course, if they will get this money and backed by all that knowledge that these venture capitalists can bring, and the support system that they can bring, so it's not that they would. I don't think they will want to indulge in your business. Not that they want to do your business, but if you need any help, like you will approach any consulting company, it's a free consultation available, and I can say their interests are of the aligned with the company that they would want to guide through. So I can say that if there are scalable models, people must explore this opportunity of having a venture capitalist on their board, whatever size it is. It definitely helps, and also the vision will enlarge. I mean, the size of their thinking will go beyond the whatever current size of thinking is. So it's, in my opinion, is a hugely positive approach to any business.
Yes, so that too makes a lot of sense. In fact, you do get a whole new perspective of how what your business is all about and how you can do better. As a matter of fact, I guess that does make sense. Over to Aryan.
So, drawing from your 25 plus year experience in the business, how do you think the kitchen appliances industry has transitioned over the course of the past years? Also, what are the upcoming trends that you foresee in the industry that you would like to gradually adopt to?
Say, if I'll give you some past and future the insights. If you will go to any of your kitchens, of course, you're all young here, and you would not know that the Indian homes did not have non-stick cookware at all. Many of the homes would maximum have a pressure cooker, one pressure cooker, and the platform, the kitchens were actually on the floor, and they evolved to have a flat platform. Today, they're all built-in appliances that go into the kitchens. Maybe this evolution, if you've seen, so I can say today we make, last year we did 1 crore non-stick cookware, and we plan to grow it by 50% this year. Every kitchen in India, I don't see any of the kitchens without a non-stick cookware. The convenience of cooking in a non-stick cookware is usually there. Similarly, are the various other appliances that have evolved in the recent past. The future, I can say there are several appliances which make life very easy. One of them, I can say, in the recent times, the last 3-4 years, we introduced a chopper. If any of you would go to Amazon and Flipkart and look for a pigeon chopper, this kind of appliance did not exist 5 years back. Today, of course, we are the largest, but if you go to any home, you will see this chopper. Similarly, there are cordless appliances being developed, and I can say breakfast appliances have taken a huge surge in the Indian homes. They got placed in the Indian homes in the during the pandemic, particularly, and now the way it is all evolving. Every household is having one electric kettle. We used to sell about 50,000 kettles a month, and during the pandemic and currently we sell about 5 lakh kettles a month. And similarly, several companies have the size of sales of these kettles have gone up. So we believe that globally, uh, the way appliances are used in these kitchens, the similar habits will also happen in India, and even the appliances that we use today will evolve, and they'll become what in the past we call this no technology. Will be high tech appliances in the kitchen space. There would be probably what you call remotely operated, or some app operating some appliances. Need not necessarily you touch any. I mean, you need to maybe in the time to come, the housewife or the person who is cooking, would not even need to go to the kitchen and then get his food done. So there is a kind of opportunity that is there in the kitchen space. Uh, Cooking will remain, eating will remain forever.
Yes, sir, I do agree with that. Cooking will always remain, but I guess the shift is more towards the technological side, and we are also moving more towards the Western culture. So there are more appliances that basically ease our convenience. All right, over to Aryan.
Right. So that brings us to the end of this interview. Thank you so much, sir, for interacting with us. And I'm sure that we are taking home some essential learnings today. I'd like to extend my gratitude towards Ruchit and Devharsh for their contribution to this conversation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and wish you all the best.